Welcome to Jean-François Champollion. Between the 5th century CE and the Renaissance, knowledge of hieroglyphs was entirely lost. Many enthusiasts tackled the challenge of deciphering the language with little success. Some groundwork was made with various researchers identifying names and some grammatical structure, and confirming that cartouches were markers for royal names. They were still missing a critical piece of information that would eventually be revealed thanks to the discovery of the Rosetta Stone. The Rosetta Stone was found in 1799 by Bouchard, a soldier in Napoleon's army. The stela dates from 196 BCE, written in ancient Egyptian and Greek with 3 scripts: hieroglyphics, Demotic, and Greek alphabet. Following the defeat of Napoleon Bonaparte in 1801, the English took possession of the stone. It has been at the British Museum since 1802 and remains the most visited object of the museum to date. The first translation was of the Greek section only in 1803. It detailed a decree of Pharaoh Ptolemy V, reminding the citizens that their pharaoh had led Egypt to prosperity. It was fully translated 20 years after by Jean-François Champollion, who was working with a facsimile. Through his studies of the stone, Champollion was able to make a critical observation that would unlock the whole mystery, that hieroglyphics were not only ideograms, but also phonograms. Hieroglyphs consist of phonetic glyphs, single characters, and logograms. Essentially, they are a combination of phonetics, alphabet, and full words, which in total form a language. While studying the stone, Champollion realized that there was a difference in the number of hieroglyphic characters in relation to the number of Greek characters for the same word. This led him to believe that hieroglyphs must have phonetic characteristics. This was the first step to unlocking the Rosetta Stone's secrets. To prove this theory, Champollion began identifying Egyptian rulers' names and then compared their phonetic pronunciation to the Greek version. For example, Cheops had been the Greek name given by ancient chroniclers to the owner of the Great Pyramid, Khufu. The next step for Champollion was to confirm that his approach was verifiable by using the Philae obelisk as an additional reference. Engraved in the obelisk are two inscriptions in Egyptian hieroglyphs and Greek. Once he confirmed the names of Ptolemy and Cleopatra within these texts and confirmed the same phonetic patterns as on the Rosetta Stone, Champollion knew he was on the right track. Champollion had already mastered several ancient languages when he took on deciphering the Rosetta Stone. He used his knowledge of Coptic to identify the solar disk hieroglyph on the obelisk as the phonetic translation of Ra. Further translation only strengthened his conclusion. Egyptian hieroglyphs encompass the alphabet in both phonetics and determinative ways, which means that the symbol represents the word itself.
وأي بشتو نختمون سنفو هاي جمودات يوه مامون نخت يوه شو متربش إبايانامون
Which one? I like this one here. That one's gas. That one's straight fucking gas. Oh shit. I like that one too. No water shot. Showing oh, the water shot. I like the water shot. No, not that one. Fuck, where'd it go? This one? Yeah. Yeah, this one's fire. Yep. I like this one too. I'm just exploring, yo. I'm just going wherever the wind takes me. I want to go towards those pyramids. Those pyramids over there. That's nice. Fucking moonlight. Oh shit, what up? What's up? I want to go somewhere else though. This is nice too, but holy shit. I want to go somewhere else. Oh, these birds. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. I'm going towards those. I'm doing those fucking pyramids. Ooh, shit. Oh. This is pretty much what I do for a fucking photo. Normally, when I edit my photos on my phone, I'm just fucking editing shit. like that dark shit. I'm gonna get in, Perry. Fucking Perry. Wow, that's nice. I wish I had more tools. The mission is those pyramids. We'll get there. Oh shit, there's an alligator. This is nice. I've never actually played the game like this. I've never been discovering it before. This is my first time. It's a little bit different because right now I would have my bow and arrow out. Right now I would just be hunting. No, this is nice. I like this. I like these walking shots. I don't know why I just do. She's a girl, so she's got that feminine, that little feminine pose. Here's all the other characters I can be. I could be Bayek, the main guy, the original character for this game. This is his girlfriend. This is his girlfriend, Aya. The fuck, Julius Caesar? Cleopatra? What the fuck? Oh, I can do some shit with her. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Oh, that's nice. Oh, shit. Oh, okay. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Alright, here's... I don't know who the fuck William Mouse is. Layla, this is the girl that's that's controlling the bike from the... She's in the Animus. This is the whole Animus thing. This is pretty much the end. Well, not the end of the Animus, but... like, part of the... This is the bitch in the Animus controlling the bike. Damn, could be like a pharaoh. The fuck? This is their son. This is Aya and Bayek's son. This guy here. Damn, Shadia. What? You could be Retta? What? Damn, that's cool. Yeah, you got all kinds of characters you can choose from. Could be a Greek person. Oh, Bayek with his uniform. Oh, shit. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Sick. Oh, man, I want to do some crazy ass stuff with this shit. Damn, I'll do some like sick portraits. That's cool. Nah, I want to just be Cleopatra. Be Cleopatra. That's sick. That's so cool. I've never done this before. Oh shit, what do we have here? What do we have here? Damn, this guy with the smoke. This guy right here in the smoke. Oh, he moved. Fuck. Well, that's okay. We can do it. Take this place. Oh shit, you can sit down? What? What? Oh shit. Oh. What? She's all eating and shit. The fuck? She's stuffing her face. That's gas. Oh, look at this guy. He's doing a little pose here. Huh. Cool. That's pretty badass. You can just interact with shit. You can't do that in the original game, in the normal version. You're not just gonna sit with some fucking guards and shit. Like, what the fuck? Oh, it's habit. It's habit sinking into these bushes. Playing the original game. It's so weird. You can just walk with them now. These fools will attack you on sight. Where's the pyramids? Oh, we're getting close to the pyramids. We should get into another tour. Pretty sure there's another tour in here. There's gotta be a tour at these pyramids. Yeah. Yeah, see? Oh, shit. Okay. Okay. What do we got here? What do we got here? Oh. Oh, that's nice. I wish I could live here.
senin gerek.
It's so weird doing parkour. Oh. Okay. Oh, that's nice. Nice, nice. Pretty sure you can climb this guy. Oh, I guess not. No, you can climb this floor. You can climb anything in this game. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, here we go. Oh yeah, here we go. Here we fucking go. Fuck yeah. Mm. Hold on. So let me get her face. Do a portrait. Oh, okay. Got a little sass there. See? Yeah, that's fucking sick. Mm. Damn, this is nice. I wonder if you take fall damage. I'm gonna try it. Jump! Oh, Spider-Man! Fuck yeah. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh, that's so Egyptian right there. Fuck yeah. That's nice. It's so weird seeing this fucking bitch do shit like that. That's nice. shit, I'm about to take mad fall damage. I hope there isn't any fall damage. Ah, fuck, there's no fall damage. Oh yeah, getting into the dunes here. Oh yeah, here we go. Why is this bitch counting like that? Oh, she's nice. Fuck yes. Fuck yes. Yes, my friend. Yes. This right here is my shit. Drop that exposure. Fuck yeah. Drop that exposure. Mm. I like that blue too. Fuck yeah, that's good. Mm. Fuck, that's nice. I don't really like the filters. It just depends on what I'm shooting. The fuck? These scorpions? Damn. Some big ass scorpions. Look at that shit. What the fuck? Yo, this is some big ass scorpions. Shit, I'm lost. It's a big ass scorpion. What the fuck? Look how big this guy is. Yeah, look how big these scorpions are. What the fuck? What the fuck? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I like this. I fucking like this. This is crazy.
Try using your eagle when you want a top-down view.
I forgot about this eagle. Damn, this is nice. Oh, these are the Giza pyramids, I think. Damn, that's nice. Oh, I guess not. Ooh. Oh, that pose there. That pose there. I see what you did there. Hmm. That's nice. Hmm. Mm. Oh, we can see somebody else's shot. Nice. Okay, I see what you did there. Okay, that's nice. Oh shit, there's more over here. Okay. Damn, he's got 300 likes. Ooh. Damn, that's fire. That is mighty fire. That is mighty fire, my friend. Get a like for that. That's clean. That's fucking clean. That is fucking clean. Yep. Damn, JP got some skills. What's this one over here? 399? Oh. Okay. That's cool. I like to look at people's shots. Yo, that's what's up. Yo, that is gas. That's gas. That's gas. Holy shit. Damn. Oh. Yo, that is fucking sick. Damn. Damn. That's gas. That's fucking gas. Damn. I'm enjoying this. Oh shit. Forget to lag. What's this over here? The fuck? That angle though. Wait, how the fuck did you do that? Wait, how the fuck do you do that? How do you angle shots? How the fuck do you angle shit? Hold the orbit. No. Tilt. Oh, tilt. There we fucking go. Oh, okay. I understand now. Okay. Yeah, that's gonna come in clutch. That fucking tilt is gonna come in mad clutch. These fucking pyramids though. Oh, let me see some of my shit. Nice. I like to look back and see what shots I did. Damn, that's nice. That's pretty cool. What's this? Oh yeah. Our mission to the pyramids. A nice little mission. They do with the smoke. yeah. That's so cool. Alright, let's go to this next fucking tour. Usually when I come out of those, when I come out of part of the tours, each set of the tours, I fucking take a photo. After one set of a tour. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Fucking sunrise.
Welcome to Secrets of the Great Pyramid.
Oh shit, the sun just comes up like that? Oh shit. Yo, what the fuck? Yo. Oh.
Built around 2550 BCE, the Great Pyramid of Giza is considered one of the most iconic structures of Egypt. It is the biggest of the pyramids and the only one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world still standing. The numbers associated to the Great Pyramid of Giza are impressive. A workforce of over 20,000 people, 6 million tons of stone, and 20 years of construction.
Damn.
It was a massive undertaking for a pharaoh's tomb.
Sick. Damn, you just gonna have the sun come up right here? Like, damn, son, look at this. What the fuck? You already just gave me my filter. The sunset is my filter. I don't need filter. I just need to drop the fucking exposure and bam, we got ourselves a masterpiece. The sunrise is the filter. I don't need fucking basic filters. My filters are natural. That shit. What the fuck? Let's see what we can do. Just drop that exposure. Bam, bam. Look at that shit. Sunrise is my filter. Let's drop that shit some more. Fuck it. It's nice. It's just fucking nice. Her poses though. These poses are next level. Let's get that. Oh shit. Right there. Let's get it. Alright, next one.
The construction of the Great Pyramid was also a display of power and opulence on the part of Khufu. It is part of the pharaoh's vast funerary complex, which also includes 2 temples, 3 satellite pyramids, a causeway, and a builder's necropolis. We can guess that the intent behind the construction of these monuments was Khufu's way of declaring himself one of the most powerful pharaohs to rule a unified Egypt. New insights into engineering and ancient Egyptian culture are still being revealed over 4,500 years later. For example, a recently unearthed papyrus offers a glimpse into the life of a tradesman at the time of the pyramid's construction. Also, a logbook belonging to a team leader during the building gives details on the craftsmen, their work schedules, and the raw materials required. It is interesting to note that by Cleopatra's time, the pyramid's celestial purpose, its construction, and the function of its mysterious inner chambers was already unclear. Today, it is only through dedicated research that we have begun to grasp some of the Great Pyramid's mysteries.
Nice. Yes. Oof. It's fucking fire. Don't even need that much color. Look at that shit. What the fuck? Don't even need color. That much color. I do like the pink though. I like the pink. Ah, that's nice.
The Egyptians had polished their design for centuries by the time work on the Great Pyramid began. Intended as a tomb for Khufu, the Great Pyramid's structural design has been considered to be nearly perfect by engineers and historians ever since.
Okay. Damn, that's fucking gas. Ooh, I have a good shot. Let's see if I can get it. There it is. Ooh. Oh shit. Oof. Look at that black and white though. I don't know how I feel about the black and white. I like the color. The color's way better. Damn. That looks good.
Precisely oriented north-south to the 4 cardinal points of a compass, the length of each side of the Great Pyramid at its base was 230 meters, and its original height was 147 meters. The pyramid is a mere 0.05% error away from being a perfect square.
Nice.
In order to achieve the shape of a true pyramid, the design required many considerations in the planning phases, as well as precision during execution. It was especially critical that they control the angle of inclination on all sides at every stage of construction. Materials for the Great Pyramid consisted of quarried limestone blocks, weighing between 2 to 15 tons each. The methods of moving these blocks into place is still debated by architects and Egyptologists. The precision of its design in an age with only soft metal tools, as well as the enormous scale of its construction, make the Great Pyramid one of the most impressive feats of human engineering.
Oh, I want to get off on this. Oof. Ooh, look at that. I like fucking that right there. Oh shit. Oof. Oof. Oh my god, that is intense. Ooh, that peak. It brings out the sky. Oh my god, this fucking game. Fuck.
It's estimated that it took between 600,000 and 2 million blocks of stone to build the Great Pyramid.
Damn.
Experts calculate it would have required men to move 12 blocks every hour around the clock for 20 years to place the 2.3 million stones the monument is made of.
God damn. Holy shit. Ooh, what was that? That fucking yellow shit's in the way. This thing's right here.
While the interior chambers were built with red granite from Aswan, most of the pyramid was made from local limestone, weighing between 2 to 15 tons per block. There is debate on how the pyramid stones were moved into place. Recent research is exploring the idea that it was built around a large interior ramp. Damn, that's nice. The recently discovered logbook confirms that the high-quality limestone of the outer casing was brought by boat across the Nile from a quarry in Tura. Once complete, the smooth white polished stone of the Great Pyramid would have reflected the sunlight like a beacon, earning it the name the Horizon of Khufu. Crazy like that for me. You scare people. What you plotting? She's plotting something. Look at her. She is plotting. Ooh, that is wicked. What is she plotting here? What is she plotting here? Why is she plotting like that? Oh, that is wicked. I like it. She is plotting something dangerous.
She is dangerous. She is mighty dangerous. She is mighty dangerous.
Over the centuries, thieves and travelers attempted to access the Great Pyramid numerous times. Ancient writings describe details of its interior, proof that some made their way within, though who gained entrance first and when is unknown.
I see you looking up like that. What's up? Shit doesn't even need to be colored. Shit's on point.
The main entrance of the Great Pyramid is located 17 meters above ground level. It faces north, likely in order to align with the North Star. Though the entrance passageway had been discovered in antiquity, any further access into the Great Pyramid was stopped by massive vertical slabs of rock. As such, present-day visitors to the pyramid must use the Robber's Entrance.
The Robber's Entrance. Here's probably where I'd use black and white.
The Robber's Entrance is reported to have been opened in the 9th century by Caliph al-Ma'mun. In search of treasure, the Caliph had his men dig their way inside the Great Pyramid. The most likely scenario is that they enlarged a corridor which had been created by tomb robbers during antiquity. As such, this is how the team can justify access to this wonder.
Oh shit, we going in there? Oh shit, okay. We going in there.
Attempts to gain entry to the Great Pyramid and uncover its potential secrets continued throughout the centuries. In the 19th century, the belief that another entry existed at the south side resulted in a hole being blasted into the pyramid side, with no results for the damage that was done. While the search is still ongoing today to uncover more hidden rooms and passageways, conservation is the primary concern of all such efforts.
Probably inside I'll use black and white. Maybe. We'll see. Oh shit, there's a tour inside the fucking pyramid. Let's go.
Welcome to the Great Pyramid of Giza, Upper Chambers. At the entrance of the ascending passage are 3 granite flagstones estimated to weigh up to 25 tons each. They were used to protect the Great Pyramid from thieves. Undaunted by the granite blocks, the thieves simply dug into the softer limestone around them, thus creating the robber's entrance. While in reality the robber's entrance is one single cavity which leads to both passages, in the game, the team created individual accesses to either passage. As such, in the game, one entrance leads to the ascending passage, while another leads to the descending passage.
She's still plotting. I don't know what the fuck she's up to, but she's up to something. Real mysterious. She's mysterious. That's what she is. I do like that. I do like that. I do like that. I really do. Nice.
The ascending passageway of the Great Pyramid provides a direct path into the Grand Gallery and is accessed 30 meters from the entrance along the descending corridor. Both corridors have similar dimensions and are designed with the same 26-degree incline. The ascending corridor has smooth masonry on its walls, and the layout includes many trapezoidal stones. Both the floor and ceiling of the passageway indicate that the passage was enlarged, possibly during or after the funeral, to allow workers room to move granite blocks meant to plug the corridor. The Grand Gallery's purpose is still debated among experts. It may have been intended to align with the stars, act as a buffer to protect the king's chamber, or simply to facilitate the transport of the granite blocks used inside the pyramid. Access to the queen's chamber was at the beginning of the Grand Gallery.
Oh shit, what the fuck? Oh, what the fuck? Oh shit. Let's twist this up a bit. Let's twist this shit up a bit. Let's make this look weird. Oh shit, it's fucking weird. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I like weed. I like it weird. I like this way better. Wait, there's two fucking ways up. Which way do we go? No, let's go down, let's go down. What the fuck? Yo, that's crazy. I gotta get him crouching in here. Yo, that shit's crazy. That's cool. Oh, that's fucking wicked. Fuck yeah. Yes, I like that.
Though this room is referred to as the Queen's Chamber, it is believed that there was no queen buried here. Based on their knowledge of earlier pyramids, Egyptologists believe it was more likely intended as the king's serdab, a chamber meant to contain the Ka statue, which would in turn house the king's spirit.
Serdab. That sounds funny. Serdab.
Situated exactly within the pyramid's center, on the east-west axis of the pyramid, the chamber has a vaulted ceiling and measures 5.7 by 5.2 meters. In the eastern wall, there is a niche tucked away in a small corbelled archway, which may have originally held the Ka statue. Behind this niche is another smaller hole, possibly dug out by thieves in search of further treasure. In the 19th century, two shafts were found running through the north and south walls. They each run in a horizontal line for 2 meters before sloping upward, and both are closed off with limestone blocks fitted with copper handles. Whether they were intended as ventilation shafts for workers or a celestial connection for the pharaoh's spirit is unconfirmed. A recent scan of the room indicated the presence of an unknown cavity hidden behind the north face of the walls over the descending corridor. Further investigation is still ongoing to ascertain the nature of the anomaly, so as to avoid risking damage to the monument.
I'm guessing from here we just go up.
Khufu's architects were possibly influenced by earlier rhomboidal pyramids when designing the gallery. It is the longest corbelled vault ever built, measuring 47 meters long and 8.6 meters high. The walls were made to taper inward, allowing for better distribution of weight. As a result, the ceiling measures just over a meter wide at its highest point. Though this construction technique is present in other pyramids, few have the same precision and stability. While the space is visually dramatic, the gallery seemed to serve a practical function, though what exactly remains uncertain. Still, the wall design was undoubtedly meant to contribute to the stability of the structure, and its floor may have helped workers move the materials. A channel runs along the middle of the room. A movable floor originally rested in this central recess. The raised benches on either side are equipped with slots that may have been used to help position the granite blocking stones. At the end of the Grand Gallery is the entrance to the antechamber leading to the King's Chamber. Directly above, there is another narrower horizontal passage that connects to the top of the King's Chamber and allow the workers access to the weight relief rooms. The far end of the Grand Gallery leads to a small antechamber with a portcullis, preventing access to the King's Chamber. The portcullis was composed of 3 separate granite slabs. They were designed to be lowered into place and seal the chamber after the burial of the king. The grooves dug out to hold the slabs in place are still clearly visible to this day. The elaborate locking system was composed of a series of grooves for the ropes and pulleys that drop the stones into place like the notches on a key. For the purposes of the game, the team elected to remove the portcullis slabs in order to grant the player access to the King's Chamber. In reality, workers would have backed out of the room after the funeral, lowering each slab into place behind them one at a time. Each of the 3 stones were smashed by looters centuries later, and evidence of their break-in is still evident. The King's Chamber is built entirely out of red granite. The King's Chamber measures 5.8 meters in height. It has an imposing cover of 5 stacked levels above, with granite beams weighing 25 to 40 tons each. The uppermost level is surmounted by a vault of stones, arranged in chevrons to bear the enormous structural load. As in the Queen's Chamber, 2 shafts extend out from the room towards the north and south faces of the pyramid. They measure nearly 64 meters until they are blocked by copper-handled granite plugs. Some experts in the culture of the Old Kingdom believe that the shafts were thought to lead the king's soul to the stars, with the incarnation of the pharaoh as the god Ra, represented by the northern well, and the god Horus by the southern well. There is a granite sarcophagus at the west end of the room, but it is the concealed construction inscriptions left by workmen on the roof's stones which verify this as the resting place of Khufu. The sarcophagus was recorded as being empty when it was discovered, and its design indicates that there was once a lid in place. It's possible that this sarcophagus is only a cenotaph in memory of the pharaoh, but was never actually meant to receive the body. Khufu's mummy was never found. It is hoped that as of yet undiscovered hidden rooms and shafts of the pyramid may provide an answer as to its location. Welcome to Jean-Pierre Houdin's Theories.
Oh shit.
The team wanted to provide players with a sense of exploration and discovery, particularly within the Great Pyramid. As such, a decision was made that the internal design of the monument in the game would reflect Jean-Pierre Houdin's theories. While the antechambers of the King's Tomb have yet to be discovered, Houdin posits that this is merely due to a unique design, placing the pharaoh's tomb at the center of the pyramid. The entire tour you are about to take was designed along Houdin's hypotheses.
No, it's fucking treasure. Oh, there's treasure here.
While respecting Houdin's hypothesis as to the general layout of the antechambers, the team wanted the contents to enhance the game experience. In regular royal tombs, the antechambers were filled with all the material goods needed by the pharaoh in the afterlife. To support the feelings of discovery and awe, the art team created a unique and fantastical treasure in this second antechamber. Houdin theorized that the ascending corridor and the Great Gallery were used by the workers to haul hoist the heavy beams above the king's chamber. He called it the service circuit. The corridor you are in now was created by the team following Houdin's theory and is referred to as the Noble Circuit. It is through this corridor that the wooden sarcophagus containing the pharaoh's mummy would have been transported to its final resting chamber. With this structure in mind, one can easily assume that the pyramid's entrance would have been connected to the two antechambers. Modern research has revealed that a cavity might be located behind the north face chevrons of the pyramid. As such, the team chose to create this area for the player to explore. Here is where Houdin believes that the priests and nobles would have exited the pyramid after the burial ceremony.
Dark shit. Oh, yes. dark in here. Oh shit. What? Oh shit, okay. Yeah, that's gas. She got so much sass. There's a lot of sass.
Many theories regarding the construction of the Great Pyramid rely on the usage of external ramps. However, Houdin believes an external ramp would have been too steep for the upper portion of the pyramid. This is why he posits that there were two ramps. An external ramp for about half of the height of the pyramid, which then became an internal ramp for the second half.
I'm gonna look at all my photos when we get out of this fucking pyramid.
Houdin's theory states that this internal ramp followed the sides of the pyramid in an ascending spiral pattern. A notch discovered in the edge of the Great Pyramid, known as Bob's Room, seems to support this theory. Located at the corners of each edge of the
Bob's
pyramid,
room?
these large rooms
Sorry,
would have
funny.
allowed workers to turn the stone by 90
It's fucking
degrees,
Bob's room.
allowing them to continue the ascent. The team chose to
Bob's
create
room.
rooms such as this one, bringing Houdin's hypothesis to life.
Bob's room. The corner room. The corner room. Let's see if I can get her running. Or you can just walk in.
This long corridor was the first section of the ascending internal ramp. Through it, the blocks used to build the Great Pyramid would have been carefully moved upward and then turned at each edge of the pyramid in order to continue their ascent. Though the team only created the main ramp for the game, Houdet posits that this ramp had 2 levels, allowing workers to return safely to the bottom thanks to an additional corbelled upper section. According to Houdet, the start of the inner ramp was located at the base of the southeastern face of the pyramid. This location would have been the junction point of the external and internal ramps. Below us, workers would have built the lower part of the pyramid with the external ramp before eventually switching to the internal ramp for the middle and upper sections of the pyramid. At that time in the process, they could have reused the material of the external ramp to fill the center of the pyramid, hauling the stones in through the internal ramp.
Climb this fucking pyramid. I'm gonna take a fucking shot on this pyramid. Shit. shit. Okay. Yo. Gas. Look at that shit. What the fuck? That's fucking fire. Alright, yeah, let's look at all the shots we took. Holy fuck, we took a lot of shots. Alright, start with this one. Mm. Nice. Yeah, just a little pyramid photo shoot here. Oh my god, that one's fucking gas. That one is gas. Oh shit, that one is gas. I think that's my favorite one. Damn, that's fucking sick. Alright, listen. This one's alright. Damn. I like that one too. I like these. I like these. Damn, that one's sick. I feel like I did more. I like this one a lot. I like this one a lot. That's it? That's all we did? There's no way. There's no way. That was that? Damn, well I guess that was that. I thought I took more. I like that one too. That one's sick. Nah, this one's my favorite. This one's my favorite. Oh shit. This is definitely number one. This is the best one. I like this one. I don't know. Second favorite. I think my second favorite is this one. I think this is my second favorite one. I can't stop looking at this one. Oh shit. Damn. One before me? Which is your favorite one? I think this one comes... I think this one's third. This one's third for me. Which one's your favorite? Figure out how to slide down this bitch. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's gas. It's sliding down this bitch. Figure out how to totally slide down this bitch. That was fun. Alright, this is a different character. Camera. Let's go shot. I ran out. Greek woman. Oh, I want to do this guy. This. Oh fuck yeah. Just this one. Now it kind of feels like the game. I just don't have my weapons. Damn. Oh, this is a toilet? Of the pyramid.
Welcome to The Origin of the Pyramid.
Okay.
The origin of the word pyramid is controversial. Most believe that it originates with the Greek word pyramis, which referred to a bread of conical shape. Life and death in ancient Egypt were modeled on the cycle of the sun. The perfect shape of the smooth-faced pyramid became associated with the metaphor of the pharaoh transformed into one of the sun's rays in death. Pyramids represented the Benben, the primordial mound of the Heliopolitan creation myth. These stories permeated every aspect of Egyptian life to a greater or lesser extent.
Do I want to do a male, or should I do another female? I think I want to do another female. like this Greek noblewoman. Yes. 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 I like this. Ooh, that good. Oh yeah, that's nice.
During the pre-dynastic period, the development of funerary practices was different, depending on whether one was located in Lower Egypt or Upper Egypt. Well before the pyramid, there was the burial pits. It is on the site of Merimde Beni Salameh in Lower Egypt that we find the oldest funerary site, dating back to 5000 BCE. Study of the tombs revealed that the bodies of the deceased were deposited in a shallow grave, in a fetal position. Though a few objects were recovered from these graves, they offered no insight as to the social class of those interred within.
Ooh, 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 ooh. You strike that pose. You fucking strike that pose. Fucking work that shit. Oh my fucking goodness. That's fire. Damn.
In Upper Egypt, pre-dynastic practices are easier to study, but reveal more complex funerary rites. They are divided into two cultural phases, Badarian and Nagada. The Badarian phase ranged from 4400 BCE to 3800 BCE. Small necropolises were discovered on the outskirts of villages, revealing the emergence of a funerary cult. The bodies of the deceased were lowered into an oval grave and covered with goat or gazelle skins. Items needed in everyday life were added alongside the body. During the three Nagada periods ranging from 4000 BCE to 3510 BCE, Funerary practices evolved in complexity. The shape of tombs changed from oval to rectangular, mimicking the homes of the living. The size of the burials increased and funerary items became more stylized and numerous. Tombs gained complexity with masonry, wooden veneers, or raw bricks added to strengthen the structures. In time, socially stratified necropolises emerged. For example, in Hyrcanopolis, the elite and commoners had separate necropolises. The term mastaba, meaning massive bench in dialectal Arabic, refers to a form of funerary architecture that was present in Egypt from the Archaic period to the Middle Kingdom. An evolution of the burial pit, mastabas were generally composed of two parts. A structure was built above the ground in the form of a massive rectangle with stepped walls, and a subterranean burial chamber was located underneath. Smaller mastabas often surrounded the much larger tomb of the king. These generally held the remains of the king's relatives and courtiers. The arrangement of the substructure of the mastaba evolved during the course of the Old Kingdom. From the 5th dynasty onwards, mastabas often featured multi-roomed substructures, with sometimes up to 30 rooms. Also, the quantity and quality of decorated surfaces increased noticeably, as well as the number of statues found within. The 6th dynasty would see art used to its utmost. The entire surface of a mastaba would be covered in scenes of daily life, illustrating the prosperity of those lucky enough to comfortably spend eternity near the pyramid of a pharaoh. The best example of this type of mastaba is the tomb of Mereruka in Saqqara.
This is so cool. Oh shit. Okay. What about me? Okay. That's nice. Mm. I like this one. Damn, what the fuck? That's crazy. Where's that other one I did? There was another one that I did. I guess I didn't save it. Which one was the close-up? Is this the one you liked? I do like this one too. Go through. Ugh. I do like that one. That one is nice. This is my favorite one. Oh my god, I can't stop looking at this one. That one's the best. That one is the fucking best one that I've done on this game. This one's nice too. Oh, you like the first one. This one. I'm talking about this one. Okay. Okay. Alright. Damn. Alright, different character. Let's try a different character. Let's go to a different tour. Like a whole different tour. Like a whole different tour. Let's explore and go over here. What's over here? Let's do another character. I'm trying to do a male this time. Let's do a male this time. Damn, I do like this skin. Let's go back to this one. Damn, I couldn't pass that up. I could not pass that up. Holy shit. I just could not pass that up. Pass that I couldn't do it.
Whoa. Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking hyena. Oh shit, this is a tour too.
Welcome to The Riddles of the Sphinx. A sphinx was originally meant to be a personification of the king. The human head, wearing pharaonic regalia, was fused with the body of a lion, thus sharing the qualities the powerful animal possessed, namely its power, the swiftness of its attack, and its majestic authority. By these very virtues, it was also considered a symbol of protection. Unsurprisingly, statues of sphinxes could be found along the Dromas, protectors of the path taken by the gods to reach the temples.
I'm getting a shot up on that sphinx. That is what the fuck I'm doing. We'll get there soon.
Over the centuries, enthusiasts and historians alike have wondered, who built the Sphinx? For what purpose? And who does it represent? These questions remain unanswered. Several theories do exist, however, some more credible than others. One theory supposes that Jedefre chose to pay homage to his father Khufu by building the Great Sphinx of Giza. The stone temple on the eastern face of the Sphinx would have been added later on by his brother and successor, Khafre, in order to strengthen the divine worship of their father. It would be the first Egyptian temple oriented with the sun.
We're getting a shot by it, and we're getting a shot on top of it. Oh shit, that's gas. That is gas.
Another theory suggests that the Sphinx was built by Khafre and was meant to represent him. The arguments to support this hypothesis are based on the fact that the limestone beds used for the main work of the Temple of the Sphinx are geographically and architecturally similar to the Valley Temple of Khafre. Some believe that Khufu himself built the Sphinx, which was later finished under his successors, Djedefre and Khafre. These arguments are based on the stylistics of the engraving, the typology of the nemes, and the absence of a beard at the time of construction. While ancient Egypt as a whole leaves a rather monochrome vision of its monuments and statuary, it is vital to understand that in ancient times, absolutely everything was painted. The sun, eating away at the pigments of the colors, the sand, the climate, and the implacable impact of time, unfortunately destroyed the glorious colors of the Sphinx of Giza. Documents from an Arab Egyptologist of the 12th century, Abd al-Latif al-Baghdadi, indicate that traces of red were still visible in his time. Today, however, the only color that remains are traces of red close to the ears of the Sphinx, as well as hints of blue and yellow on the nemes, traditional colors for that type of headdress. The pigments for the color red were man-made, obtained by mixing different products such as clay, quartz sand, and very finely crushed hematite.
Ugh, I just don't like these yellow markers right here. They get in the way.
Red had a strong symbolism in ancient Egypt. It was both the color of life and the color of death. It could represent the sands of the desert or the brilliance of the sun. Red was also associated with the god Seth, vengeful and destructive. The Egyptian word for red, Deshur, is also the word which was used to signify the desert, or the royal crown of Lower Egypt. In art, red was also the color used to paint the bodies of men, while yellow was used for women. It is possible that there were also color restoration efforts during the Saite period about 600 years before Cleopatra's rule, as indicated by notes on the inventory stele, discovered in 1858 by Auguste Mariette. It is because of this that the team made the decision to display it with its full range of colors, even though the Sphinx's colors would have likely faded by Cleopatra's time. Dating from the 4th dynasty, approximately 2600 to 2500 BCE, the Great Sphinx of Giza is the oldest and largest sphinx that we know of. Carved from a natural limestone outcrop, the Sphinx measures 19.8 meters in height, 73.2 meters in length, and 14 meters in width.
Oh, damn. I'm gonna get this Sphinx by itself. Oh, hold on. Damn.
In order to bring polish to the imposing monument, several blocks of limestone were added after the initial construction phase. Since then, there have been numerous attempts at preservation. The polish present in the game integrates some aspects of modern restoration attempts. The team made this choice to present a more iconic version of the Sphinx of Giza to the player. Today, the Sphinx is called the Terrifying One. This appellation is translated from its Arabic name, Abu al-Hal, which in turn was derived from Baluba in Coptic.
There, now we can get a picture of this bitch on top of this motherfucker. Oh shit. I want the pyramid in the background too. Fuck, I want the pyramid in the background. Oh shit. Oh, okay. Some fucking king shit right there, man. Let's fucking go.
The Sphinx as a whole was carved in situ from a natural stone promontory. Its head was built in a limestone peak of the Mukattam Plate, and the body was sculpted in the underlying rock layer where it is located. The degradation of the Sphinx is due in particular to wind erosion and the different quality of limestone used in its construction. The level of sodium contained in the groundwater which abuts the stone is also a contributing factor. The natural bedrock is seen through the oblique natural strata of the Sphinx's body that are similar to the surrounding limestone. Since antiquity, people have always believed there was a hidden tomb deep within the Sphinx. It is thought that attempts to plunder the Sphinx began as far back as the First Intermediate Period. Since then, numerous attempts to pierce the Sphinx's secrets have been carried out, leaving indelible scars upon the monument.
Let's see if we can get it right. I like the jumps in Odyssey better. Some Spider-Man shit right there. Woo! Okay, now.
"12 meters long and cut during pharaonic times, another entrance in the back of the Sphinx aroused curiosity. Although Thutmose IV attempted to seal it off, it was possibly reopened by treasure hunters. It was rediscovered by Howard Vyse and mapped more recently by Mark Lehner. This entrance at the back of the Sphinx leads to different cavities of a few meters each, in directions going inside the statue's body and under the surface. The team has used this opportunity to extrapolate a little more. While there have been no major discoveries pertaining to the Sphinx of Giza in recent years, theories and hypotheses continue to emerge. Without validation provided by archaeological sources, however, they remain unsubstantiated. The first of the main theories as to the Sphinx of Giza's meaning posits that the Sphinx was originally a massive representation of the god Anubis. Its principal arguments are that the head of the Sphinx is disproportionate compared to the size of its body. The second theory believes that the representation of two sphinxes on the stela of Thutmose IV would indicate that another stone sphinx had existed on the site itself, possibly even in paired symmetry on the other side of the Nile. However, neither of these theories can be verified in any way. Several scientific projects using new technologies have been put in place in the past decades. The most important was led by Mark Lehner and his team, who specialize in the study and survey of the Giza Plateau, including the Sphinx site. The mapping made it possible to see the materials used to construct the Sphinx, analyze the different layers of erosion, and figure out the most fragile areas to protect. After a few attempts at giving the Sphinx artistic proportions, the team instead decided to use photogrammetry mapping to faithfully reproduce the proportions of the Sphinx. What the Sphinx of Giza represented during its construction and how the Sphinx was perceived by the Egyptians of the New Kingdom are two very different matters. Originally a representation of the king imbued with the power of the lion, the Sphinx was eventually viewed as a direct representation of the Most Divine. It is theorized that kings of the New Kingdom believed that the Sphinx of Giza was the one who recognized and legitimized the ruler of Egypt. Thus, despite the fact the Sphinx of Giza was partially buried under the sand during his reign, Amenhotep II knew that the monument was of great importance. Amenhotep II built a second temple dedicated for the Sphinx as Horemakhet to pay homage to Khufu and Khafre, his predecessors. It became a common habit for this dynasty to spend time with their royal courts at the Sphinx. Its sanctuary became known as Setepet, the Chosen. Egyptologist Mark Lehner believed that Amenhotep II built a statue of himself anchored between the paws of the Sphinx, likely to legitimize his reign, alongside a stela found by Salim Hassan. Many other pharaohs of this dynasty, such as Tutankhamun and Ramses II, also left marks of their passage in a similar fashion, sometimes even stripping the stones of nearby temples and pyramids to do so. Amenhotep II's son and successor, Thutmose IV, was a frequent offender. While sleeping between the Sphinx's paws, the future Thutmose IV saw in a dream the god Horemakhet proclaiming his coming accession on the throne of the two lands. This was, of course, on the condition that he remove all of the sand covering the Sphinx, which stood guard as the personification of the god, and should thus never be engulfed by the sands of the desert. The 15-ton dream stela built by Thutmose IV to commemorate his dream was discovered by an Italian Egyptologist, Giovanni Battista Caviglia, in 1818, when he undertook the task of freeing the Sphinx from the sand, which had, yet again, covered it. Caviglia was looking for an entrance into the structure of the Sphinx, but instead he discovered an open-air chapel and stelas between the paws. Ashes from a ceremony were still present. Protected by sand, they quite possibly were from the last ceremonies in Roman times. That same year, Caviglia discovered fragments of the Sphinx's beard that had probably been added during the New Kingdom. If many of these pieces are held by museums in Cairo, a fragment is displayed at the British Museum, along with a piece of the uraeus that was on the Sphinx's headdress. It is believed this fragment of beard was possibly kept in place thanks to the statue of Amenhotep II, which was supposed to be located under the head of the Sphinx. A popular cultural legend purports that the nose of the Sphinx of Giza was lost during the time of Napoleon Bonaparte to the cannon fire of French soldiers in training. However, engravings from before the time of that campaign already depicted the Sphinx without a nose, indicating that it had been removed before the French campaign. The most plausible hypothesis is based on the research of the German historian Ulrich Harman. During the 1980s, Harmon compiled medieval sources written by Arab authors. In doing so, he discovered that the Sphinx was once perceived as a favorable omen, a deity supporting sediment-nurturing floods and crops. Around 1378, a Sufi by the name of Muhammad Sa'im al-Dar could not stand this vision of the monument, and in an iconoclastic act, broke the nose of the Sphinx. According to the texts, he was then hanged and burned between the legs of the Sphinx for his crime.
God damn. Sucks to be that guy. This is what I didn't get before. That man walking right there is just perfect. He's in a perfect spot. Oh shit. Let's see. Damn, I only took like 5 photos, really? That's all I did? I like that one. Damn, that's it. What happened to the one where I was on the fucking... Oh no, we're doing that one again. We're doing that one again. We are so doing that one again. Yo, it's fucking up. Let's go. Some better saved. Didn't save it. What? How? That's not cool. Didn't even save it. We're doing that again. We're doing it again. Finally, it saved it. Fuck. Sick. Alright, now I'm happy. Now I'm happy. Now we can move on. What's over there? Let's go. I can't get over this one. This one is just too good. Let's do a different character. Let's do a little kid this time. Let's do Retta. That's so weird. I need to go to bed soon. Fuck, what time is it? Damn, it's already 5:30? Fuck. I'm gonna do a few more shots and then go to bed. I'm tired. Alright, we can do this last tour. Let's do this last tour. Last tour.
Welcome to an overview of the Giza necropolis.
Let's go.
The Giza Plateau is located on the west bank of the Nile and was considered by ancient Egyptians as the domain of the dead. The pyramidal complexes found there were built over the span of 3 generations, during the reign of Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure.
Oh, we gotta get up there. We have to get up there.
نجهر.
Damn, these trees. Oh, I like that pose he does. Oh, that's a me pose. That is so a me pose. That is so a me pose. That is so fucking me pose. Just want to make sure my shit's saved. Okay, it is. Good.
The Giza area, now famous for its 3 pyramids, is part of a wider grouping of funerary complexes. Rulers from this period generally elected to be buried in the area. The focal point of the entire region was the city of Memphis, chosen as the capital of Egypt at the beginning of the Old Kingdom.
I'm enjoying this. I'm fucking enjoying this. I'll be doing some more tomorrow, so I'll send you all the photos that I do. It's like that tropical vibe.
The placement of the Giza monuments, and particularly that of the pyramids, followed a practical yet strict alignment. First, they focused on cardinal points, and then they accounted for the natural geology of the plateau.
Alright, that was the last tour. Last tour. I'm gonna end it right here. Get some sleep. We could do one more shot. We'll do one more shot. One more photo. Let's get this one going. I like this shit. Alright, that was the last one shot. I'm gonna end it right there. I'll be on tomorrow playing this shit, so I'll send you all the photos. All the photos that I did. Alright.